Hi, I'm Jenny Williams, and I am your instructor for English 102 this semester. This is a 12-week class, and it'll move really quickly. So buckle up and let's get started. I'm going to walk you through how to navigate our Blackboard shell. So this is what it should look like when you open up. Across the top, you'll see this toolbar, content, calendar, discussions, gradebook, and messages. I would ask you please to email me at my regular email, which is jenny.williams@kctcs.edu. I'm more likely to see that more quickly than if you use the message feature in Blackboard, which I only check when I'm grading stuff for this class and not all the time. So content, you can see all that right here. We'll get to that in a minute. The calendar is a really useful way to see what is due when. We've got a couple of discussion boards that we'll participate in, and you can see those by clicking here. And then you can see your grades in the grade book. So let's start by just looking through the content. There's a folder called Welcome to English 102. Start here. You should start there. I will tell you that there's a lot of important information in these documents, and it's really important that you read through them. So please click on each document and read all the way through it. Be sure you look closely at the syllabus, which is a contract between you and the instructor. My office hours are posted here. And when a document comes up like this, you can just go to these three dots and click Download Original File. And it'll pop up for you, and you can see things like your syllabus and when my office hours are. Quick word about my office hours. Those are just when I happen to be in the office, but I'm happy to meet with you at other times as well. So don't hesitate to contact me and ask for an appointment if there's a time in the evening or something that's better for you. I'm happy to make an appointment and do that. How to submit work. All your work should be submitted as a Microsoft Word attachment. The exception to that is when we're doing things in the discussion boards, in which case you can just type right into the discussion board. There's a document here about how to navigate InfoWord. InfoWord is the free open educational resource that we're using for this class so that you don't have to buy a textbook. And you can see it right down here, and we'll look at that in just a minute. Finally, there's one assignment here, the class questions and no-show assignment. When you click on that, it'll open up a box over here, and then down at the bottom, you'll click. You can see with all your assignments, you can see when they're due. So I've got almost everything due on Tuesdays and Fridays at noon. If something says it's due at 12 a.m., it's probably just because I clicked the wrong button. So almost everything's due on Tuesdays and Fridays at noon. You can see how many attempts you have, and you can see the maximum number of points. And then you go down here and you click View Assessment, and it will open up the assignment. It's got some questions. You do not want to just type into the submission box. Please be sure that you are submitting things. Type up your work in Microsoft Word, and then click the little paperclip that says attachment and attach it as an attachment, please. So be sure that you kind of follow that. Like I said, InfoWord is the free online textbook that we are using. This explains how to navigate it, but if you just click on this, it'll ask you to download it. And what I would do if I were you is download the original file to your computer and save it. You can also, if you don't want to do that, you can just kind of go back and forth between this window. It's a pretty long document. It's 502 pages. We're only going to use bits and pieces of it to navigate through this. If you go up into this little box here where the page numbers are at the top and type in whatever you want to type in, whatever page you want to get to, it'll take you right to that page. So for instance, you can see that down here in Unit 1, I ask you, let's see, let me find one where I know. There's a how to use InfoWord assignment. And if we go to View Assessment and we look at that assignment, it asks you to read pages 37 through 53. So I can go to InfoWord and type in 37 up here in the top in the where the pages are, and then hit enter, and it'll take me right to page 37. Something to note is that the pages that are the PDF pages up here are not always the same as these pages, but it should line up pretty well. So that's kind of how to navigate this course. You can see that I've got things. We have 4 total units. You need to be sure that you look at the Water Street folder because this is something that has a due date in April, but that you may want to go ahead and get started on. Water Street is a book by Crystal Wilkinson, who is the poet laureate of Kentucky. And for this unit, you're going to read 4 stories from her book of short stories. I'll go in and edit and tell you which 4 you need to read. You're going to submit discussion questions for each story, and then you'll have to attend and participate in one of 3 discussion group sessions. Those are open to the public, and they'll be available virtually and, COVID permitting, in person. So there's one on March 1st at 5:30, one on March 18th at 11, and then one on March 31st at 6:30. And then there's actually 4 of these. There's one on April 7th at 10 a.m. that Crystal Wilkinson's actually going to be present at. If you can't attend any of those discussion groups, then you're going to have to read all 14 stories and answer a set of questions about each one. So I'll be contacting you to talk more about that. You can also attend Wilkinson's reading in Hazard on April 7th from 6:30 to 7:30 for 20 extra credit points. I think that's about it. I do just want to show you that I think a really good way to see when things are due is to click on calendar, and then you can click on month, and you can see that all of our stuff, like I said, is due on Tuesdays. I'm sorry, and Thursdays. I said Friday earlier, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You'll notice that there's a lot of stuff in these first 2 weeks. That's because I'm trying to set up some information for you that you'll need through the whole rest of the semester. So things do slow down a bit after that. And you can see March doesn't look nearly as bad as those first 2 weeks of class did. There'll be a few other assignments that are added onto this, but in general, the calendar is a great way to keep up with things. You can see what's due and you can click on the assignment, and this will take you right to the assignment from here, or you can go back to content and look. Be sure that you kind of look through all the assignments and sort of get a plan, because if you see that there's some stuff due on, I don't know, on the 15th, right? And you wait until the 15th to look at that, it might not give you enough time to get it done. So figure out what's due, figure out what your workflow is going to be and when you're going to get your work done, because it's really important to turn things in on time. I have so many classes, and the only way that I can keep myself straight and somewhat sane is to really strictly schedule the time that I spend grading. So if I know that you've got class questions due tomorrow, I'm going to allot some time tomorrow afternoon to sit down and grade all those. If somebody turns one of those in late, then that means I have to figure out when I'm going to go back and get that. And it's just very confusing and upsetting to me, to be honest. And so, if you absolutely need an extension, you are required to email me and request an extension on an assignment, and then to email me again once you've turned it in. And I'll also warn you that if you turn stuff in late, I'll accept it and I'll grade it, but it might not be in a timely fashion, which means you're probably going to be late on your next assignment. So please, please try to turn stuff in on time. It really will help all of us keep things straight. I think that's about it. So I hope that you do a good job in this class and that you have a good time in this class and that you do not hesitate to contact me and ask me if you have any questions at all, because, like I said, I am literally paid to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. And let's go have fun.